Hello, I'm Councillor Claire Lasserve. I'm Mayor of Bass Coast Shire Council and I welcome you to Wonthaggi and to the Bass Coast region. Bass Coast is an incredible natural region with surrounding coastlines and rolling hills. It's a beautiful place to live, work and play. And we're very fortunate to have Wonthaggi as our main centre. Wonthaggi is steeped in its history, from the coal mining days to the present day. It has grown from a small little town to a thriving hub and the centre of Bass Coast. Neighbourhood houses, and Mitchell House in particular, are very important to our community. Mitchell House is the first neighbourhood house in the Bass Coast region. They were very supportive in assisting other neighbourhood houses that came along in the early 80s as well. Congratulations to Mitchell House for 40 years. Well done. Well done to all the presidents, all the committee members, all the managers that you've had over the years, but also to all the community who have been the users of this centre. It's really important because neighbourhood houses are a special part of our hearts. I'd like to also thank all those volunteers because it takes a lot of volunteers to run these centres. Thank you and congratulations on 40 years well done.
Thousands of years before the arrival of European settlers, the Bunurong people lived on and cared for this land. In the summer months, they camped along the coast, fishing in the rivers and inlets. Large shell middens, which can be found in the sand dunes, remind us of this time. They were among the first Indigenous peoples in Victoria to encounter white settlers. Sadly, like the experience of First Nation people everywhere in Australia, this had a devastating impact on their way of life. Today, their descendants continue to live on country and invite us to care for country. Bass Coast Shire takes its name from the explorer George Bass, who as early as 1798 sailed along our shores and named Venus Bay, Cape Patterson and Western Port. Wonthaggi, an Aboriginal name meaning to drag or pull along, was founded in 1910 when the Victorian State Government established a state coal mine in 1909 to cater for the state's growing energy needs.
The township grew as a state model town project, part of the state mine project, which were revolutionary activities by the government at the time, because the government was moving into the production of coal, which until then had been mainly a private enterprise. A lot of men from the goldfields especially were attracted to the township of Wonthaggi because they thought they would be coming into a town where a sort of new society could be established.
This new society was a socialist experiment. At its heart were values of cooperation and egalitarianism. Particular attention was paid to the welfare of the miners and their families. Programs such as Accident Medical Benefit Fund and a Hospital Benefit Fund were quickly established. These were followed in the early 1920s. A dispensary and dentistry fund set up to deliver free medicines and dental care for their members.
And the miners paid their levies and they were able to get free dental treatment. Very basic dental treatment, pulling out of a tooth, but also at the time you could have all your teeth pulled out for nothing, and then you could get the denture top and bottom for nothing.
As early as 1912, a consumer cooperative catered to the miners' material needs.
As co-op became bigger and bigger, it boasted that it could cater for you from the cradle to the grave. You could buy a motor car through the cooperative, you could buy your petrol through the cooperative, you could arrange your funeral through the cooperative.
The 1920s and 1930s were peak times for Wonthaggi as it experienced a rich social, political and sporting life. After the Second World War, the town went into a slow decline. By the 1960s, coal production was winding down and in 1968 the Wonthaggi mine closed. Miners were pensioned off or left the town. Initially, there were fears that the town would die out. However, by the 70s, there were signs of revival. People started building and Wonthaggi changed into the service town that it is today. Wonthaggi Neighbourhood Centre, also known as Mitchell House, opened its doors in 1984. This was preceded by intense lobbying over several years by a dedicated group of women and men who recognised there was a need to support women and their children. Lorraine Mitchell and her husband Ross were among this leadership group, and after whom Mitchell House was named. Like the early spirit of Wonthaggi, the work of the centre is guided by principles of community ownership, advocacy, participation and support. It is now 40 years since its foundation, and the Wonthaggi Neighbourhood Centre continues to provide opportunities for people to meet, make new friends, to share or learn new skills and to enjoy the experience of being part of a community.
So the philosophy here is really about connection, I think, and meeting people where they're at and then seeing how we can be of assistance. And that might be providing, food relief in some way, or it might just be letting somebody be who they are and participating in things.
Everyone who walks through the door is considered to be fantastic until proven otherwise. So you assume the best, you invite people to step up. Yeah. And in that process, people feel supported and often come out and give their best.
It's a really friendly, warm, safe place. There's just an acceptance of whoever you are, whatever's happening in your life. You can walk through the door and have a conversation and hopefully have your needs met.
Moving to a new town and finding our place in a new community is often challenging and bewildering. One of the important contributions of the Wonthaggi Neighbourhood Centre is to support new arrivals to Wonthaggi and provide a pathway to make new connections.
I came to Mitchell House when I first moved to Wonthaggi, which would have been about 14 years ago, and I didn't know anybody. We'd moved from interstate, and so I was feeling a bit lonely and a bit sad. I didn't have those connections that you make at kinder and schools and things like that, and my health was not good, so I didn't have the energy to get out and do a lot of things. And I found this place just became my lifeblood. I made friendships that have lasted for the whole time that I've been here.
This place has really helped me settle into Wonthaggi, that feeling part of something, and therefore, it becomes home.
Yeah. I think it brings a very visible place, an opportunity for people to make friendships and find a way to feel part of the community.
Wonthaggi Neighbourhood Centre offers a rich array of activities and opportunities in the areas of wellbeing and health, art and craft, recreation, lifelong learning, family and individual support, Indigenous and multicultural issues. The centre is also part of the local community network that includes a popular men's shed program and a productive community garden.
People think that neighbourhood houses are things like, sewing groups and craft groups, which is what, they are. But there's so many other things that go on in a neighbourhood house, and you can actually, you can get involved in campaigns in the community, you can get involved with campaigns with all sorts of various things, like we always did International Women's Day, we always did NAIDOC Week, we always did Sorry Day. There were just all the different things that you could actually do, as well as all the activities that go on in the house. So, and it was an ever-changing environment because people were constantly coming in, new people were starting, people would come in with program ideas. So it was like a really creative atmosphere.
In keeping with its community development principles, decisions as to which programs and activities to undertake arise from the grassroots of Mitchell House community.
People make suggestions, I guess, as volunteers. There's a lot of conversation around what else could we do, and we talk about that. But it's not a top-down kind of Leslie thinks we need a whatever. It's more people coming to us and saying, I'd really like to, and we work out how we can make that happen.
There is a lot to discover and enjoy in Bass Coast. As a neighbourhood centre, we are offering you a warm welcome and a friendly first port of call as part of your settling in process into your new town. We'd love to get to know you, so we hope you will take the opportunity to come and visit us sometime for a cuppa and a chat.
It's such a connected place where everybody's welcome. Never heard anybody say that they don't feel welcome here. The way people feel when they walk through the door, I think, is really important, and if we can just keep bringing that to more and more people, that would be wonderful.